Another second half start for Mitch Keller. Another stinker. But my goodness, is he not the problem or even part of the problem? Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins that I hope you'll check out as well. Blue Jays 7, Pirates 3 last night at PNC Park. No, it did not go well for Mitch. 3 1/3 innings, 5 runs, all earned, 7 hits, 3 walks, which for Mitch is nuts. Hit batter, wild pitch, still struck out 5 and prevented further damage, but, I mean, he didn't have command. He just didn't have it. Not just the walks. He was getting behind the guys. He was just doing stuff that you don't normally see him do. Unless, of course, you want to go in the bigger scope and see that this is something that he tends to do, which is struggle in the second half. 2023 season, Mitch's second half saw 5.59 ERA. 2024, 5.65 ERA. This season, so far in 6 starts, 8.31 ERA and a 2.08 whip. Yikes. It's not like he's not aware of it, you know? This was him after the game last night.
And I got to go back and just got to go watch some video, just go over some, if I've got bad tendencies, locations. I mean, yeah, just got to go through it all. Try and turn it around as best as I can, yeah. It's frustrating, for sure.
Okay, now this is the part where I pounce back, because a lot of what invariably happens in reaction to this, and I'm referring to the fan base here, based on what I see, hear, and read, is Mitch is no good. Mitch, he'll fold on you in the second half, as if somehow the games get bigger in Pittsburgh, right, in the second half. And he's generally overinflated in terms of his quality. He's generally overcompensated in terms of his annual pay of $15 million. And you can lump all of that into one big ball and say that the Pirates should have traded him at the deadline when they had the chance. All of which is a big ball of nonsense. Let me share with you what baseball executives, meaning the good ones in the 29 other markets, will look at when they're studying a starting pitcher. First and foremost, they go to one column, one in the stats package, and that's the one under IP. They don't have to wonder a whole heck of a lot about any pitcher who's out there for a lot of innings. It's the tell-all stat. Are you golden? No. Do you stay healthy? Yes. Are you perfect? No. Do you have a resiliency about you? Yes. Are you among the top 10 in ERA or whip or whatever else? No, not necessarily. Are you someone who would be in any rotation in the majors? Let me repeat that for you. Any rotation in the majors out of all 30 teams, would you have Keller in that rotation? The answer is yes. And as for the pay, I can't believe this ever comes up, but it does. That's the cost of doing business. $15 million for a starting pitcher, and he's the only starting pitcher you're really paying? That's just the price tag that's attached to that arm. Nothing more, nothing less. Again, referring back to those executives, the number one concern they have when building a pitching staff, not just the rotation, but the rotation, the bullpen together, and all the middle guys, is that, man, I've got X number of innings that I've got to fill over 162 games this summer. How am I going to do that? Who's going to get me there? And who's going to do it in a way that I can trust with this really large investment that I'm making? So swinging this back to Mitch, what would you rather have? Mitch struggles a little bit, but he keeps taking the ball and going out there? Or do you want the guy who goes, ow, wow, this really hurts. That's why I was missing with all those pitches tonight. He doesn't do that. You heard his voice. He was disgusted with the way he threw the ball against the Blue Jays. That's not your problem. That's part of the solution. Would it be awesome if they were all Paul Skeens? Sure. Would it be wonderful if Mitch was, let's say, more spread out in his patterns, meaning maybe he would have a couple of starts he wouldn't like in May and some that he'd really like in September? I guess so. Again, with this franchise, it doesn't really matter what you do in the second half, or it shouldn't. Do the Pirates and or Keller need to work out something else moving into the future where maybe he can stay a little bit stronger in addition to being healthier over the second half? Make sure that he's got that zip coming. Make sure that he's got that spin rate that's needed to be successful. Yeah, of course, go ahead and do that. Ideally, with a new GM and new people, you can trust to do the right thing for you. Picking on Mitch? Oh my, no. When we come back, J1Q.
This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Dan, who says, DK, doesn't it really paint the full picture, considering the 2025 Pittsburgh Pirates, that Paul Skeens is at best the second most talked about topic? He's somewhere beyond the realm of a generational talent, but the full breadth of Bob Nutting's incompetence is the above-the-fold headline of this team. You know what? I mean, that's the truth. And I'm reminded of this on occasion when I'll see headlines that come from outside of Pittsburgh, or even just promos, whether it's from Major League Baseball or from a TV network, that'll say, coming up Thursday, Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates will take on. You're like, what? Skeens against the Blue Jays, for example, a couple nights ago, was one of the top stories on ESPN SportsCenter. Now, I get that Toronto is in first place and everything else, but, you know, it was still, they were facing Skeens. Whereas here, the other night, my wife was going for a walk through downtown and then across the 6th Street Bridge, and she reaches out and says, there's like nobody at this game. All you could see from the outside, from the bridge as you're heading toward Federal Street, is blue seats. To which my response was, well, yep, that's what they've pulled off. Seemingly impossible, but they pulled it off. They've made Skeens himself an afterthought around here. And I don't think this is a subject that too many people are thrilled to bring up. I don't just mean inside the Pirates. I think inside the fan base in general. The official paid attendance Monday night was 17,000 and change. And I got to tell you, from being here and being through downtown that day, that most of it, were Canadians who came down across the border. They're excited about their team, but they always bring a good contingent when the Blue Jays come. Or for that matter, when the Maple Leafs come. Big, big, big city. But they come down here like tourists. They make a weekend of it or whatever. And my point is, you're still talking about, 8,000, 9,000 actual Pittsburghers in there to see Skeens pitch? And yeah, the person to blame for that is Nutting. He's at the very top. He's the one who fired the manager but didn't fire the GM. He's the one who has carved out his own niche for himself as being this big villain who's greedy and hates all fans and hates baseball and whatever else. Whether it's exaggerated or not, it doesn't matter. Perception is reality in business. And if you think back to that scene at PPG Paints Arena earlier this year when ESPN had the show, whatever that show was that they brought in like 10, 11,000 people in, like a Pat McAfee talk show that I guess was just conducted in front of a lot of humans. And there was Ben Roethlisberger, and there were all three of the Penguins core, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, and they invited Skeens to be part of this group. Skeens gets introduced to everybody, and pardon me if you remember this yourself, but the crowd started chanting, "Sell the team." And that wasn't aimed at the kid. It was just the first thing that popped into their heads. Oh, look, it's someone from the Pirates. Sell the team. Yeah, but you know where the blame goes for that, Dan. I appreciate the question. It's a good one. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.